I just uploaded a video that examined the possibility of Ripple taking the place of the US Federal Reserve. I want to go over some of those ideas again today, but I want to change the topic. Would XRP ever be truly needed by the US government? With all of the debate about the US strategic reserve and governments accepting gifts of assets, this is a really fascinating topic. Are you sick of phony gurus who pretend to be knowledgeable traders but never engage in live trading? I trade live on the second biggest cryptocurrency exchange, where results are unfake and everything is clear. I have continuously closed each month in profit for more than 440 days. With just a 4% drawdown, my followers have made over $34,000 in profits in the previous 90 days alone. Results that have been verified, not just claims. You want to view my verified statistics? Start duplicating my trades for free right now by clicking the first link in my profile. With its enormous XRP reserve, Ripple has long hoped to distribute it to influential players throughout the world in order to influence the financial system's destiny. However, is it logical for Ripple to replace the Federal Reserve? And might this result in the transfer of XRP to the US government? We'll examine these issues in detail and explore the intriguing possibilities in this video. You really don't want to miss this conversation. Let's get right to one of the most hotly contested subjects in this entire conversation. What role does Ripple play in the overall scheme of things? There have been some claims that Ripple will eventually take the place of the US Federal Reserve. To be honest, though, I don't believe that. It appears to be the result of a misperception of the true operation of the American monetary system. A crucial aspect is missed by the proposal to replace the Federal Reserve with Ripple. An essential component of the financial system of the US government is the Fed. It is essential to the entire process and plays a major part in the generation of money. Technically speaking, the Federal Reserve is regarded as an independent organization, but let's face it, in practically every significant sense, it acts as a government surrogate. This is the actual operation of the system. Bonds are issued by this treasury to raise money. The government is able to issue that debt because major actors like banks, mutual funds, and other investors purchase these bonds. The Federal Reserve then intervenes and buys the investors' treasuries. By reintroducing money into the banking system, this operation essentially keeps the financial system's wheels spinning. So, even if Ripple is a novel idea, will it eventually replace the Federal Reserve? That's another matter entirely. Money enters the financial system in this way. It all begins with, let's simplify the method, even though it is more complicated than it first appears. The Federal Reserve purchases the debt issued by the U.S. government, thereby injecting money into the system. In essence, banks receive dollars from the Fed in return for repurchasing treasury notes. It is a cycle, and money creation, as we know it, would come to a complete stop if the Federal Reserve didn't fulfill its job. Debt is the foundation of our current monetary system. The generation of money is the first step. That's the structure we have for the time being, but whether it's the best or worst way to issue money is a topic for another discussion. Despite certain issues, there are no indications that the system will fail anytime soon. Yes, it is a continuous experiment with uncertainties, just like any other experiment. How much time will it take? Who knows? However, for the time being at least, it appears stable enough to continue. It doesn't make sense for Ripple to suddenly replace the conventional method of creating money. Ripple doesn't even do it. This is where things start to get interesting, though. Our current money transfer method is antiquated and ineffective. Fixing it is where Ripple's strength lies. It's not about turning the financial system upside down or redefining the fundamentals of money production. Rather, Ripple improves the infrastructure by implementing the same guidelines on more intelligent, quicker rails. Ripple's position is so important because of this. It's not about abandoning the decades-old method of using money. Nobody's going to sign up for that, let's face it. Rather than dismantling the system, Ripple brings about the change we require. For more than half a century, even though the current system may eventually collapse, we can nevertheless improve its efficiency in the interim. Imagine maintaining the same regulations yet modernizing the infrastructure to make everything run more smoothly. This is where Ripple is useful. Ripple is not here to completely replace or overthrow the Federal Reserve. Nothing would be resolved by that. It is merely a lateral maneuver to switch one system for another that performs the same function. Rather, Ripple aims to modernize the financial system's rails by retaining its core while incorporating quicker, smarter, and better technologies. The power of Ripple is not in inventing the wheel, but in transforming the way the system functions. But by installing modern plumbing in place of clumsy old pipes, Ripple and XRP are prepared to act as the backbone of the financial system, regardless of whether it continues to be debt-backed or changes to something completely different. Regardless of how the game develops, Ripple merely makes sure everything runs well while blockchain technology becomes the new accounting system. In essence, humans have created an antiquated system based on analog banking rails that dictates how money should function. There's a better method, though. Imagine switching to blockchain technology, which is incredibly quick and effective. This is where Ripple is useful. Not only does Ripple operate inside the system, but it also supports it, existing beneath the tires of banks, government organizations, and the entire money creation process. Consider it a significant improvement to the foundation of the financial system. Furthermore, we will still require quick, precise, and dependable infrastructure to support any new models that may be developed in the future, whether they be debt-backed, gold-backed, or something else entirely. Ripple is that infrastructure poised to serve as the foundation for whatever follows. Let's make a clarification before we begin this video. The Federal Reserve, the Treasury, or anything like will not be replaced by Ripple. Rather, Ripple is more akin to an improvement to the XRP-powered plumbing of the financial system. Let's go on to the reasons why the US government might require XRP in the future. I have a fascinating clip from Mark Yusko to help clarify this. Yes, you heard correctly. During Good Morning, Mark Yusko, who isn't exactly renowned for being an XRP lover, offered some unexpected insights on the subject. Yusko has extensive connections and is a billionaire. Thus, the fact that he brought up XRP indicates that this discussion isn't simply among ardent fans. Put on your headphones and pay close attention. He discusses how laws might be extended beyond Bitcoin to cover XRP, Cardano, and possibly Hedera. Let's examine the potential implications of this for the financial industry going forward. Those founders have been getting along with Eric in the administration. We'll see where this goes, but to be honest, it seems like his son Eric is pulling a lot of strings. Now, there is renewed interest in the concept of a strategic Bitcoin reserve. Given that Bitcoin is digital gold, that argument is fairly obvious. In the world of cryptocurrency, everything else has a distinct function. Is it possible? There is talk, but perhaps not in the first 100 days. The XRP community may want to take note of this point. There is speculation, just chatter, mind you, that XRP might be used as the basis for national banking or even as a digital currency issued by a central bank. And it's a big if that occurs, it might completely upend the game. It's one of those times where you have to wait and see what happens. All of this is related to the topic we will be discussing next. It gets even juicier, I promise.